Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over my picks for the top 10 HSW vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now obviously this is exclusive to the next generation consoles and the expanded and enhanced edition of Grand Theft Auto Online, because obviously we don't get these on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or of course PC. So anyway guys, let's go ahead and get started off with number 10. To start things off, we got the Coil Cyclone 2 HSW coming in at number 10. This thing is going to run you $2.25 million plus $475,000 for the HSW upgrade. Now you're probably thinking, why is this at number 10? This car looks like it would be crazy fast and very good. Unfortunately, that's not so much the case once you put the HSW upgrade on the Coil Cyclone 2. For some reason, this thing just doesn't handle very well. It's an all-wheel drive car, but it seems like more power goes to the front wheels than the rear wheels, which causes the vehicle to have a lot of understeer issues as well as torque steer, which is very, very annoying, and it definitely limits the overall performance of this vehicle. What I will say is that it is very quick off the line, and in a straight line its acceleration is absolutely fantastic, and with the HSW upgrade its top speed is a little bit higher than it otherwise would be, but it is an electric vehicle, so its top speed is going to be a little bit lower than it otherwise would be. And of course the handling is absolutely terrible, and it costs a fortune, so that's why it's at number 10. I would say honestly avoid this one until you have some of the other cars ahead of it on this list. With that being said, let's move on to number 9. Next up we have the Ubermacht Sentinel XS HSW. This car is the cheapest HSW vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online, also technically probably the slowest. This thing is going to run you $60,000 to actually buy the Sentinel. However, you can just steal a Sentinel XS off the road if you guys are able to find one, and then go and upgrade it for $1.3 million into the HSW variant. This is going to increase this thing's top speed, acceleration, and it will even improve the handling of the vehicle once you put the HSW suspension on it. It'll also unlock some additional customization within the LS car meet, so that is pretty cool. The Sentinel XS is pretty much a favorite of the community, especially from when we were all starting out in GTA and when we were broke. This is one of the best free cars that you can steal off the street, and for it to have an HSW upgrade I think is a great thing. So that's pretty much it for the Sentinel XS HSW. Let's move on to number 8. Next up we have the Overflawed Entity MT HSW coming in at $2.4 million, so even more expensive than the Coil Cyclone 2. And for the HSW upgrade, it's going to be an additional $850,000 on top of that, so this thing is really expensive. However, what you get with the Entity MT HSW is quite a lot better than the Coil Cyclone 2 overall. This thing does suffer from engine resistance because it's modeled after the Overflawed Entity XXR, which came out with, I believe, the Nightclub update, and it was plagued with engine resistance, which basically means that the engine over revs but it doesn't shift gears, so it makes the car a little bit slower than it otherwise would be. However, with the HSW upgrade, this thing is still really fast, and its handling is even improved because of the HSW suspension. Overall, the Entity MT definitely has better handling and a better top speed than the Coil Cyclone 2, maybe a little bit worse acceleration, especially off the line, but it will make up for it with the top speed and its handling abilities. It's also got some really good customization, definitely one that I would say to look into. That's it for number 8, let's move on to number 7. Up next we have the Benefactor Sterling GT HSW. This thing comes in at $975,000 plus $900,000 for the HSW upgrade. The Sterling GT is regarded as one of the best sounding vehicles in all of Grand Theft Auto Online, if not the best sounding vehicle, so I figured just for that reason alone it belongs on this list. Also with the HSW upgrade, it has become a contender in the sports classic category for racing. This thing is now the second fastest sports classic vehicle in the entire class when it comes to racing, and it has a very high top speed. Additionally, the car got some extra customization with the release of the Criminal Enterprises DLC in the summer. So it now has a spoiler option which will increase its traction. It did have one before, but it was a tire and it looked really ugly, but now we have a pretty good looking spoiler to put on this thing to make it look just that much better. Its top speed is super high, its acceleration is very good, and its handling is definitely above average, especially for the sports classic category. And for just under 1.9 million, this thing is a bargain. So go ahead and pick up the Sterling GT HSW, definitely one of the better ones. Let's move on to number 6. Next up at number 6 we have the Karin S95 HSW. Now this car is $2 million plus an additional $525K for the HSW upgrade. For players that have migrated from last gen consoles to current gen consoles, you will get the Karin S95 HSW on Southern San Andreas Super Autos for free, which means you're getting an HSW vehicle for only $525,000, which is the cost of upgrading said free car into the HSW version. The Karin S95 on long straightaway tracks will give the Italy GTO a run for its money, which is the current fastest car in the sports category. However, on twistier circuits, the Karin S95 is going to struggle a little bit, meaning that the Italy GTO is still a viable option, but on most tracks I would say that the Karin S95, so long as you can control it, will probably outpace the Grotti Italy GTO. So this is definitely a good car to have, especially if you plan on racing. It's a blast for free mode and it's really easy to drift. Overall, I like this car a lot. Definitely pick this one up, especially if you can get it for free. On to number 5. Next up, we have the Grotti Turismo Classic with the HSW upgrade. This is going to cost you just over $700,000 to get the car and an additional $900,000 for the HSW upgrade, which is a pretty bargain price. In all honesty, $1.6 million for the best sports classic car in the sports classic category for racing. The HSW upgrade takes the Grotti Turismo Classic, which was already the fastest car in the sports classic category, and it makes it even faster so that it still dominates the category, even after the benefactor Sterling GT HSW has come out. The Grotti Turismo Classic HSW is one of my favorite cars to drive in the expanded and enhanced edition of Grand Theft Auto Online. With the HSW upgrade, it handles so well, the car is so planted, it feels so good, the acceleration is great, the top speed is really good, and the handling is awesome as well. I'd say it's one of the best overall HSW cars in the entire game, and beyond that, one of the best cars in the entire game. It's just so much fun to drive. It handles so well, and the weight of the car is like perfect. It just feels so good. You guys are gonna have to take my word for it. Make sure you go and pick up a Grotti Turismo Classic HSW, especially if you plan on doing sports classic races. You're gonna need this thing if you want to win. Anyways, that's it for the Grotti Turismo Classic HSW. On to number 4. Next up at number 4, we have the Pfister Astron Custom, costing just over $1.7 million for the car and about $400,000 for the HSW upgrade within the Los Santos car meet. The Pfister Astron Custom is now regarded as the fastest SUV in Grand Theft Auto Online for circuit racing, and top speed wise it beats every single other vehicle. Its closest competitor is the Pegassi Toros, which is still a very fast SUV, but the Pfister Astron Custom HSW just completely outpaces it, along with everything else in the category. It's also probably the best HSW vehicle for off-roading overall because it does have some ground clearance and it's also got quite a wide stance. The Astron Custom takes the regular Pfister Astron and puts a wide body kit on it, which I think looks really good. It's got some decent customization and it's very fun to drive. It's all-wheel drive as well, so very quick off the line, decent top speed, and really good handling, especially for an SUV. Anyway guys, that's it for the Pfister Astron Custom. Time to move on to the top 3. And at number 3, we have the Declasse Vigoro ZX HSW, $1.9 million plus an additional $550,000 for the HSW upgrade on this vehicle. The Vigoro has one of the highest top speeds in all of Grand Theft Auto Online, topping out at just under 160 miles per hour, 157 to be exact, which is extremely fast. I don't think there's another car in GTA Online that goes this fast. It's absolutely unreal to take this thing on the highway. It's so fast in a straight line. It does kind of struggle in the corners a little bit. It is still a muscle car, and with all that extra power from the HSW upgrade, it definitely could have used some more handling upgrades, but that's not to say it's horrible. It's still very manageable, more manageable than most of the muscle cars in this game for sure. So it has great acceleration and a great top speed. The handling is decent at least, and this is arguably the fastest muscle car in Grand Theft Auto Online on most circuits. If it's a very twisty circuit, the Bravado Buffalo STX might be able to take this thing, but on the straightaways you are going to be catching up very fast. And if it's just straight muscle car circuit, you are absolutely going to dominate with the Vigoro ZX HSW. So that's it for the Vigoro. Let's move on to number 2. Next up at number 2, we have the Hakuchu Drag HSW, coming in at $980,000 plus an additional $1,450,000 for the HSW upgrade. So this thing is a little bit on the expensive side. However, for that price, you do get literally the fastest land vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online, especially around circuits. If you could take the Hakuchu Drag into a circuit with any other vehicle in the entire game, this thing would absolutely dominate no matter what. Its cornering speed is completely unmatched, its acceleration is completely unmatched, and top speed wise it does actually get beaten by the Vigoro, quite narrowly, but it will get beaten. However, you're going to make up so much time in the corners with the Hikuchi Drag HSW that nobody is going to be able to touch you. This bike is super fun. The only thing that you really have to watch out for with this thing is falling off of the bike, because it is very hard to dodge cars and stuff like that when you're weaving in and out of traffic. It does have fantastic brakes. That is the best thing about this bike, other than all the other good features, obviously. So you can stop in a hurry. It's just usually that hurry just isn't quite fast enough to stop you from getting absolutely whacked on something. The Hikuchi Drag by itself is already a fantastic bike in GTA, and the HSW upgrade basically takes everything that's good about the Hikuchi Drag and just makes it that much better. Definitely the second best HSW vehicle in the entire game. And of course, now it's time to move on to the #1 HSW vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. And you probably saw this coming. It is, of course, the weaponized Pegasi Ignis HSW, coming in at $3.25 million, which, by the way, is almost $1 million higher than any other vehicle on this list, plus an additional $500K for the HSW upgrade. However, this price that you're paying is 100% worth it, because this is the only armed HSW vehicle, and it is the only HSW vehicle that has a Monty tech. This thing technically doesn't have a Monty tech, but it does have a missile lock-on jammer equipped on the car, so oppressors, attack helis, jets, all of that stuff cannot lock onto this vehicle, which is very useful. It can take at least one homing missile once you're inside the car, but if you're outside of it, it is going to die to one explosive. The gun on the top will shred vehicles in a matter of seconds, and it will shred players even faster. It's also the fastest supercar in Grand Theft Auto Online right now as well. It has insane acceleration, a very good top speed, and incredibly good handling as well. Overall, the weaponized Ignis HSW is by far the best HSW vehicle in the entire game. It does come at a cost. Utility-wise and performance-wise, it is absolutely unmatched. The package that you get with the weaponized Ignis HSW is absolutely fantastic. There is one drawback with this thing: you cannot use it in the HSW time trial because it is a weaponized vehicle, which is a huge drawback, but still, that's what all the other vehicles on this list are for. Basically, pick one that you like and you're gonna do pretty good. Anyway guys, there you have it. That has been it for the top 10 HSW vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online in 2023. Let me know what you thought of this list in the comments down below. Are there any cars that you would add onto it? Are there any cars that you would take off of it and replace with something else? Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.